Hi, I'm Edward Granger. Welcome to Cohart Selects. I am an abstract geometric painter here in Brooklyn. This is my safe space. It's something that I can leave the world behind and just create and just feel free and fluid and just be myself. In my apartment, it's very minimal. This is just a kind of a fun space to be in. So yeah, very different from my apartment. Some of my pieces happen overnight and some of them take weeks to create, but I don't really focus on one piece at a time. I'm kind of bouncing around from one piece to the next. This one's really special because it's the most evolved out of all of them. It's called Vertigo. My work is a byproduct of nature and my moods and things like that. The reason I call it vertigo is because I felt like I was getting vertigo, but we actually had an earthquake. When I'm creating a piece of art, I think it helps me sit in the moment, and that situation is always going to live with me, just feeling this jolt of energy that I never felt before, and I think it was really special. During the pandemic, there was sort of a loss of everything. I lost the studio that I was in, I lost a lot of the materials I had, there was a lack of funding. I took a bunch of old paintings that I had that I no longer liked, I cut them up, I collaged them together, and I found something really beautiful out of that. It takes a while to name the pieces, and sometimes they sit with me for weeks and years before I give them a title, because the idea has to ruminate in me before I come up with one, so it's untitled for now. Sometimes the viewer names the piece for me. I don't have to do it, which I think is really cool. I had a piece and I called it "The Sunrise Gives Me Confidence." The reason I titled it that is because I had a buyer come into my studio and she kept talking about how much she loved the sunrise, and I was like, well, that's it. Last year I was supposed to go on a trip to Casablanca in Morocco, which I was really excited about. The trip fell through, but I did make a painting out of the sort of like anticipation and inspiration that I thought I was gonna get from there. I will go on that trip and I'll see if my imagination and the reality will blend at some point. There's a few in the studio that are a collaboration of pieces. I do have these moments where I'm very watery, I'm very emotional, and so I do a lot of paintings that are imitating rain. Nature has a big influence on my work, not only because nature is so beautiful. My work is abstract, and I do think that nature is abstract. It's so much bigger than us, the way that it moves through us. My work is super joyous. I feel like it's fun. I feel like it's playful. I think when we get to a certain age, we sort of like want to shrug off who we were as kids, but I've held on to that. And that's what I love most about my work, is the playfulness. When I was in architecture school, I mean, everything we studied was about modernism and this and that and contemporary structures and buildings, and I think it just sort of stuck with me, and all the diagrams we had to do in school were just super like angular. I'm sort of like paying my debt to my architecture school in a way with this work. It relates so much. Cohart has taken this one specific thing and connected all the dots, and I think that that's a really incredible thing to do. A new, fresh platform for myself to connect with other artists directly, a buyer to connect with me directly. I think it's just super intimate. I think that's like the new space for art collecting. Thank you for coming into my space and allowing me to share my work with you. I'll see you on Cohart.